All right, stop what you're doing for just a second and think about your rent or mortgage payment. For most of us, right, it's the biggest bill we pay every single month. It might be $2,000, maybe it's even closer to $3,000. Now, imagine that bill just disappeared. Gone. Poof. What would you do with all that extra cash every single month? Sounds like a dream, doesn't it? Well, it really doesn't have to be. You know, that dream actually has a name. It's a powerful, proven strategy called house hacking. And it is, without a doubt, one of the smartest ways to get into real estate, slash your biggest expense, and start building some serious wealth. So in this explainer, we're going to break down the exact blueprint. I'm talking how to find the right property, how to get a special kind of loan, and how to use your tenant's rent to pay your mortgage so you can live for free. Okay, so let's dive into the big idea here. How do you take the very place you live, your biggest liability, and turn it into a money-making asset?
So what is house hacking, really? It's actually super simple. You buy a property that has more than one living space, like a duplex. You move into one of the units and you rent out the others. And here's the key. The rent you get from your tenants is what pays for your housing costs.
And this breaks it down perfectly. It's a simple 4-step dance. You buy, you live, you rent, and they pay. Best case scenario, you live for free. And sometimes you actually get paid to live in your own home. And this is the secret sauce that makes it all work. You see, for a normal investment property, banks want a massive down payment. We're talking 20% or more. But because you're actually living in this property, it's considered owner-occupied. And that unlocks special loans. This completely changes the game, dropping that down payment to as low as 3.5%. It's huge.
So you're probably thinking, okay, how do I actually do this? Well, there's not just one way. There are actually 3 main strategies, and you can pick the one that really fits your budget and, your personal comfort level.
First up, the most popular method, the multi-unit classic. This is where you buy a duplex, a triplex, or even a fourplex. You live in one unit, you rent out the others, and as you can see, this strategy gives you the most privacy and the highest potential for income. You have your own front door, your own kitchen, it's totally separate living. And here's a quick but super important fact. A 4-unit building, a fourplex, is the biggest property you can buy with these special loans. Once you hit 5 units or more, it's considered commercial real estate and the rules change completely. But hey, what if buying a multi-unit building feels like too big of a leap right now? That brings us to our second strategy, the roommate split. This is often the cheapest and easiest way to get started. You just buy a regular single-family home with a couple extra bedrooms and rent them out. The trade-off, of course, is a little less privacy. Now, just a small warning, if you go the roommate route, you have to set the ground rules from day one. You are the landlord, not just their buddy. Put everything in a clear lease agreement. Trust me, it prevents so many headaches down the road. All right, on to our third and final strategy, the ADU advantage. ADU stands for Accessory Dwelling Unit. Think of a converted garage or one of those cool little backyard cottages. This gives you a great mix of high privacy and really solid income. It's like having a totally separate rental property right in your own backyard. Okay, so we've covered the different ways to do it. Now let's talk about the part that stops most people dead in their tracks, the money. But remember, house hacking has a secret weapon. These are the 3 keys that unlock this whole strategy. Because you're gonna live in the property, you qualify for these amazing owner-occupied loans that regular investors just can't get. Let's break them down. First, we have the FHA loan. This is an absolute gift for first-time buyers. You can get into a property up to 4 units with as little as 3.5% down. The only big catch? You have to live in one of the units for at least 1 year, which, let's be honest, is the whole point of what we're doing here. Now, for veterans and active duty military folks, this is the holy grail. The VA loan. It lets you buy a property with 0% down. Let me say that again, 0% down. You can literally start building a real estate portfolio with almost no money out of your own pocket. It's an absolutely incredible opportunity. Okay, so the dream of living for free is powerful, and we know the financing is possible. But you have to treat this like a business, and that means you have to make sure the numbers work on paper before you ever sign a contract. And this is the simple, beautiful formula that governs everything. Your goal is to get that net cost as close to 0 as you can, or even negative. Yeah, negative means you're actually making a profit just to live there. Let's walk through a super simple example. Say you buy a duplex. Your total monthly housing cost, that's your mortgage principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, or PITI, comes out to $2,000 a month. Now, let's say the other unit rents for exactly $2,000. Boom, that rental income completely wipes out your cost. Your net cost is zero. You are officially living for free, all while your tenant is paying down your loan and building your wealth for you.
But hold on. Here's a pro tip that separates the amateurs from the pros. Never ever assume you'll have a tenant 12 months a year. Life happens. To be safe, always factor in a vacancy rate. Just budget as if the unit's going to be empty for 1 month every year. It keeps your math honest and protects you from any nasty surprises.
So when you house hack, you're not just a homeowner anymore. You're also a landlord. Now, this is basically a little side job, and while it's not that hard, you do need to be ready for it. Really, your landlord duties come down to 3 main things. First, find great tenants. Always, and I mean always, run background and credit checks. It's non-negotiable. Second, use a rock-solid lease. This is your rule book. It protects you and it protects the tenant. And third, be ready for repairs. Things will break. Keep an emergency fund with a few $1,000s set aside so a broken water heater doesn't blow up your whole financial plan. And look, is being a landlord annoying sometimes? Yeah, of course it is. But when you get that call about a leaky faucet, just remember the thousands of dollars you're saving every single month. That feeling of financial freedom, it is absolutely worth it.
And here's what's so powerful about this. House hacking isn't a one-time trick. It's a repeatable system for building massive wealth. After you've lived in the property for the required time, usually that 1 year, you're totally free to move out. You can then rent out the unit you are living in, which turns the whole building into a cash-flowing machine. And then you can go and do it all over again with another property.
House hacking is such a simple idea, but it has an incredibly powerful result. It's how you stop paying someone else's mortgage and you start building your own future. So here are your next steps. First, talk to a loan officer. It's just a conversation. Ask them what it would take to get pre-qualified for an owner-occupied multi-unit property. Second, if this blueprint was helpful, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And third, I'm curious. Leave a comment below and let us know what city you're thinking of house hacking in.
I'll just leave you with this one last thought. Ask yourself this, honestly. Is the check you write for rent every single month doing anything to build your wealth? If the answer is no, well, now you have the blueprint to change that. Go take action.